Today I'm going to review a channel maker's NMN review, a guy by the name of Paul Vincent, who really posted an honest video just telling his experience taking NMN, which he'd initially heard about on a Huberman podcast, and he got curious about it and started taking it. Now, Paul is 43. He's got 2 kids. They're 6 and 1. And he was initially interested in the energy boosting impact of taking NMN. So he started taking it, started feeling more energy. He describes his story with it. And what's really interesting about this is Paul has no motives. He has no agenda. He's simply posting a random video reviewing NMN. He doesn't even name the brand. He's in Australia and he ordered it from the US, and that's really all he says about it. He doesn't talk about the background of NMN, the scientific aspects of NMN. This is really just a first-hand account. It reminds me of myself and what I tried to do here and just tell you my story. I do mention the brand that I take, which is from DoNotAge, and the reason for that has a lot to do with the fact that I took a fake NMN for several months and I got burned, and I don't want other people to get burned because there's something more frustrating than wanting to feel the effects of NMN and realizing, oh my gosh, I'm taking something that's not NMN. And luckily I was informed, hey, Amazon is not a good place to buy NMN. You better check that out. Went up to Amazon, and the brand I was taking, NMN Max at the time, to save money, turned out there was a review up there from my own city that a guy had taken it to a lab and tested it, and it turned out to be fake. So I've avoided that ever since, and I've taken a brand that is trustworthy. And I even had it tested myself early on, and they get it tested quite often. So that's why I do that. But Paul never got into any of that. He didn't even research so much of it. So I find this really honest, direct, and interesting. It's a short video. I'll put a link to it in the description so you can check it out. I encourage you to watch it. Paul comes across very sincere, very honest, and he even talks about one downside that he's experienced taking NMN, and I've got some comments for him and others that may be experiencing that as well to hopefully help you guys out through that. Now, the thing that surprised him the most was the mood improvement that he feels taking NMN. In fact, that was such a game changer for him that he says, I'm going to keep taking this the rest of my life. He not only wants to order it again, but just keep taking it because it's really improved his mood. And having kids, that's pretty important. You want to be in a good mood to share that with your family. I have had those benefits. I've had many other benefits as well. Maybe Paul, being younger, didn't report as many benefits. He didn't talk about as many topics, or he's only taken it for a few weeks. He may not have even fully realized yet all the things that he's experiencing. That'll be interesting as well. It's been a couple months since he posted this video, so I'm going to try to reach out to Paul, see if I can ask him some questions, because his video does raise a lot of questions. One of which is he talks about having an improved appetite and eating more, yet his weight management has been improved in the sense that he's not gaining weight. So his metabolism is kicking in and he's eating more, but he's not gaining weight. He does talk about sleep disruptions, and that's something that many people have mentioned with NMN. I would not say majority. I would say it's a 10 to 20% at tops, at best, where people say, I have trouble sleeping. But I attribute that to eating or drinking late. And Paul does mention that he does do some drinking from time to time. And I'm wondering if he's eating at late at all after 6, 7 p.m., which I never recommend. And I think that could be a sleep disruptor, because I still notice if I once in a while do have a snack later, which I'll break down usually after 2, 3 beers, I'll try to settle my stomach with some kind of food later than usual, then I might wake up in the middle of the night, although I do get back to sleep pretty easily. I would also ask Paul, is he taking TMG? Because I think that can help mitigate some of the negative impacts that you might have with sleep with NMN, and also offer other complementary improvements when you're taking NMN. As we've talked about here many times, taking TMG is a really cool thing. So very cool video from Paul. He says he's still going to take it, because even when he gets less sleep, he has energy the next day anyway. So he feels fine. It's just that he'd like to get a little more sleep. So it's not a deal breaker for him, but it is something that I think he could probably get some help with through maybe managing his metabolism a little bit better. I will mention also as a side note, I do have a relative who I've gone back and forth with about NMN. He's over 90 years old and recently hasn't been feeling very good. Started to take NMN. The first comment I got after a few days was he checks his blood pressure all the time, and his blood pressure has improved the last few days. So I hope that continues. But just a short side note there from another family member. This is another family member. I have multiple family members taking NMN, feeling positive effects. As I, of course, do, and many in my audience do as well. But this person is pretty unique, and I find it pretty encouraging that he is experiencing some good things taking NMN. Now, I do want to apologize for being so busy. I play so much tennis. I do so much this time of year. I'm going to matches with both of my sons. We're all playing a lot, and May and June is always a slowdown period for me when it comes to making video content and talking about my progress. I can just assure all of you I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. I do kind of think that shows. I look in the mirror, and this time of year I get a little bit of a tan, and I get a little more fit than I usually am, and I feel fantastic. So all positive things going on. I'm still taking all the supplements in my stack, as I've talked about many times. That's also in the description below if you want to see that. But it is nice to get back and talk to you guys through this camera lens a little bit more again. And, you know, the interesting thing about Paul's video, by the way, is that it showed up in my feed. And he's had about 2,500 views in the last couple months, but that's a lot more than he usually gets, which oftentimes his videos don't pass the 100 view mark. So it is of note that the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, is pushing his video out a bit and showing it to some people where I'm not sure I've seen those kinds of new, fresh NMN accounts and videos from new people lately, over the past couple of years, in fact. So it's nice to see some new stories. So if any of you guys have any stories you want to share, hey, make a video, post it, or send me a clip and I'll include it and comment on it on the channel as well. I thank you all for watching. I do have many videos planned over the next few weeks, so you'll be seeing a little bit more of me. Thanks for watching.